Have you ever wondered what it was like to be a gladiator, the superstar of ancient Rome? Imagine a world where your survival depends on your ability to fight. This was the reality of the gladiators, the blood-soaked athletes of ancient Rome. The gladiator games were a spectacle of brutal combat, a lethal ballet soaked in blood and sweat, played out in the grand amphitheaters of the Roman Empire. The term gladiator originates from the Latin word gladius, meaning sword. But these were not just swordsmen, they were warriors, entertainers, and occasionally unwilling participants in a deadly game. Their significance in Roman society was vast. They were simultaneously admired for their bravery and physical prowess, yet reviled as slaves and social outcasts. The origins of the gladiator games are shrouded in mystery. Some historians trace them back to the Etruscans, an ancient Italian civilization, who believed that the spirits of the dead required a blood sacrifice. Others suggest that they evolved from funeral games where slaves would fight to the death to honor the deceased. Over time, these fights transformed into a form of public entertainment. They became a symbol of power and wealth for the Roman elite, who sponsored these games to gain favor with the public. The gladiator games were a reflection of Roman society's values: courage, endurance, and the ability to face death with dignity. But the gladiators were more than just fighters. They were celebrities of their time. They were the subject of countless works of art. Their images adorned everything from pottery to mosaics. They were the heroes of popular plays and the subjects of passionate fan worship. The allure they held for the Roman audience was undeniable. Yet beneath the glamour and the glory, there was a darker side. A life of a gladiator was marked by a harsh reality. Every time they stepped into the arena, they faced the possibility of a brutal end. So the life of a gladiator was not just about fame and glory, but also about survival. But who were these gladiators? Where did they come from? Our story takes us back to the Roman Empire, a time where the concept of entertainment was starkly different from what we know today. Gladiators, the superstar combatants of the Roman world, were often not born into this life. They were made. Most of these gladiators were not volunteers. They were the underbelly of society: slaves, prisoners of war, or those who had fallen foul of the law. These were individuals who had lost their freedom, their rights, and were thrust into the arena as a form of public amusement. Yet despite their lowly origins, these men became figures of fascination. Their blood-soaked battles in the arena were viewed by thousands, their names known and cheered by the masses. They were the equivalent of today's sports stars, their faces graced on pottery and mosaics, their exploits were the talk of the town. This was the paradox of their existence. They were both slaves and superstars, their lives a dichotomy of glory and despair. Their battles were brutal, their lives constantly hanging by a thread. But when they fought, they were more than just men. They were the embodiment of courage, strength, and honor. Their victories brought them fame, wealth, and adoration from the public. Some even earned their freedom, a chance to escape the deadly dance of the arena. But even then, the shadow of their past was never far behind. They were forever marked by their time in the sand, their lives defined by the roar of the crowd and the clash of steel. The life of a gladiator was a life on the edge. Every day could be their last, every battle a dance with death. But in the midst of the danger, they found a strange kind of stardom, a fame that outlasted their fleeting lives. It was a life full of contradictions, a life in the limelight yet under the shadow of death. Once chosen to be a gladiator, what was the path ahead? The life of a gladiator was not merely about fighting, it was a journey of transformation, one that began with rigorous training. The training ground, known as the ludus, was where this metamorphosis took place. It was here, under the watchful eyes of their lanista, or trainer, that these men were molded into warriors. The training was intense and relentless, as it was a matter of life and death. Recruits would spend countless hours honing their skills with various weapons, building their strength and learning the art of combat. There were different types of gladiators, each with their unique style of combat and weaponry. The retiarius, for instance, was a gladiator who fought with a net and trident, while the murmillo wielded a large shield and a short sword. Then there was the threx, who fought with a small shield, and the curved sika, a dagger-like weapon. Each type of gladiator was trained to fight with their particular weapons and to use them to their advantage against different opponents. The weapons themselves were a testament to the Romans' ingenuity. They were designed not just to kill, but to entertain. The retiarius's net, for instance, was not a lethal weapon, but it added an element of spectacle to the fight, as the crowd watched in anticipation, wondering if the gladiator would succeed in ensnaring his opponent. But the training was not all about fighting. Gladiators were also taught how to entertain the crowd. They were trained to make their fights dramatic and engaging, to play to the audience, to draw out the suspense and the excitement. They were performers as much as they were fighters. The arena was not just a battleground, it was a stage, and every gladiator had a role to play. And it was on this stage, amidst the roar of the crowd and the clash of weapons, that these men, once ordinary, became extraordinary, etching their names into the annals of history. And then came the day of the battle, the day to face the enemy, the day to face death. The Roman Colosseum roared with anticipation, a sea of spectators thirsty for spectacle and blood. The air was thick with tension, the palpable energy of thousands of spectators awaiting the clash of steel and the test of human courage. In the heart of this gargantuan theatre, the gladiator stood alone. His heart pounded in his chest, his breath steady, his muscles tense. He was a player on the grandest stage of all, the Colosseum, where life and death danced in a deadly ballet. The sun bore down unrelentingly, casting long, ominous shadows that flickered across the sand-strewn arena. The gladiator's opponent emerged, a formidable figure armed and armored, ready for battle. The crowd's roar reached a deafening pitch as the two warriors locked eyes, acknowledging the deadly dance that was about to commence. The clash of their weapons echoed through the arena, a symphony of violence and valor. Every swing, every parry, every lunge was a testament to their training, their determination, their sheer will to survive. They were the embodiment of bravery and brutality, their dance a spectacle of raw human strength and skill. The battle could end in but one way. Defeat, for a gladiator, was not merely the loss of a match, it was the loss of life. The victor stood tall, his opponent fallen, the sand beneath them stained with the evidence of their lethal dance. The crowd roared in approval, their thirst for spectacle momentarily sated. Yet amidst the cheers and the applause, the victor stood alone. For in his triumph, he was reminded of his fate. Today, he was the victor. Tomorrow, he might be the fallen. In the relentless cycle of the Colosseum, today's hero could be tomorrow's spectacle. In the arena, the gladiator was both the actor and the spectacle, the hero and the villain. In the grand theatre of the Colosseum, every battle was a performance, every gladiator a performer, their lives hanging in the balance of a deadly dance. So what remains of these gladiators today, these heroes of a bygone era? In the echoes of history, the legacy of the gladiators rings loud and clear. These warriors, once tethered between life and death in the heart of the Roman Empire, have transcended their mortal coil to become immortal symbols of courage, valor, and the human spirit. The gladiators have been immortalized in a myriad of ways. They've been etched into the annals of literature, their tales woven into the fabric of countless narratives. From the epic poems of ancient Rome to the modern novels that borrow their themes, the gladiators' struggle for survival, their thirst for glory, and their indomitable spirit have served as a rich wellspring for storytelling. In art, they've been captured in the heart, the battle, frozen in time. Sculptures and paintings from various epochs have portrayed these warriors, turning their fights, their victories, and their defeats into enduring symbols of human resilience. Their images, frozen in marble or captured in paint, continue to inspire and awe centuries after the last gladiator's footstep echoed in the amphitheater. And then there's popular culture. The gladiators have stormed the silver screen, their stories brought to life in epic films and television series. They've become icons of strength and bravery, their tales reimagined for new generations. They've found a place in video games, comic books, and even in the world of sports, their influence seeping into arenas far beyond the confines of the Colosseum. But the legacy of the gladiators is not just about the stories told or the images carved. It's about what they symbolize: the human capacity for courage in the face of adversity, the pursuit of honor, and the will to survive against all odds. They stand as a testament to the spirit of humanity, to our ability to face challenges head-on, to fight, to endure, and to emerge victorious. The gladiators might have vanished, but their spirit lives on, reminding us of a time when courage and valor were the biggest spectacles. If you enjoyed this journey through time and the legacy of the gladiators, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.